Today, I'm going to discuss the important principles on how to become effective in teaching English in the elementary level. So, what does it take to be an effective teacher of the English language to children? According to Tompkins, there are 7 principles of effective teaching, and we are going to discuss these principles one by one. The first principle is teachers understand how students learn. To be able to teach students effectively, the teacher must know and understand the various ways in which students learn and how their behavior can be shaped to facilitate learning. This can be done by getting to know the different learning theories. There are teacher-centered and student-centered theories, as you can see here. The first theory is behaviorism. This theory believes that learning focuses on observable and measurable changes in behavior. It is based on the assumptions that behavior is the result of stimulus-response action and that external stimuli can be manipulated to strengthen or reduce one's behavior. This theory is known to be teacher-centered as it focuses on the teacher's active role as a dispenser of knowledge. Direct instruction is one form of reading instruction that is linked to the theory of behaviorism. So it is an example of behaviorism. No? So in direct instruction, teachers explicitly focus children's attention on specific reading concepts such as phonics, vocabulary, and comprehension skills, and then provide information to students about those skills. The information in explicit instruction is presented in small steps and reinforced through practice activities until students master it because each step is built on the previous one. Practice activities may include drills or the use of worksheets. And then in the behaviorist perspective, the teacher controls and motivates students through the use of rewards or praises and punishments. The next theory is constructivism. This theory emphasizes on the individual's active construction of knowledge. According to this theoretical perspective, learning only happens when the learner is able to integrate new knowledge with existing knowledge. And for integration of new knowledge with existing knowledge to occur, the learner must be actively engaged in the learning process. That is why this theory is a student-centered theory. The next is social linguistics. This theory looks into the relationship between social interaction and the development of knowledge and learning. When applied to the teaching and learning of language skills, this perspective emphasizes the importance of social influences and social interaction on literacy learning. It says that reading and writing and literacy in its expanded form are social practices that are influenced by one's cultural background and orientation. Social linguistic theorists believe that oral language is the foundation upon which children's reading and writing achievement is built. Oral language knowledge provides children with an intuitive understanding of the structure of language that helps them predict text and read fluently, especially at a later age, and also provides the foundation for vocabulary learning that helps children comprehend the words and messages that they read. As such, children from at-risk communities may not be learning as much vocabulary in English as those children from professional homes or affluent families. Hence, Sociolinguistic theory asserts that language is learned as a result of people's social interactions with each other. Varying patterns of social and language interactions subsequently lead to differences in individual language and literacy skill. Another one is the information processing theory. It is a cognitive theory of learning that describes the processing, storage, and retrieval of knowledge from the mind. Based on this theory, the mind is comparable to a computer, which consists of processing units where information moves through. Information processing theories and models are marked by a discrete, stage-by-stage conceptual orientation, and most reading and writing processes are based on this theory. The second principle is teacher support for students' use of the cueing systems. There are four cueing systems in the English language that teachers need to know for them to be able to support and guide their students as they communicate with one another. These cueing systems make communication possible as they are simultaneously used as we read, write, listen, and talk. The first cueing system is the phonological system. Based on the sound system of English, there are approximately 44 sounds and more than 500 ways to spell them. And these are the terms under the phonological system and their corresponding applications. So these are the terms the teacher should know so that they will be able to properly teach their students about this particular knowledge. The second system is the syntactic system. This is the structural system of English that governs how words are combined into sentences. So again, these are the terms such as syntax, morpheme, free morpheme, and bound morpheme. And we have here in the other column the corresponding applications of these terms or these topics or competencies under the syntactic system. Next one is the semantic system. So semantic system talks about the meaning system of English, which focuses on vocabulary. So the important terms here, we have semantics, synonyms, antonyms, and homonyms. And in the opposite column, you can find the different applications of those terms. Another one is the pragmatic system. The system of English that offers language choices according to social and cultural uses. So we have here important terms as function, standard English, and non-standard English. And these are the corresponding applications. The third principle is teachers create a community of learners. Learners in the classroom become more motivated to learn when they feel at home with their teacher and classmates. It means that they can feel the support and respect of one another and they feel safe and secure. As members of the classroom community, they also assume responsibility for their behavior and learning. This kind of classroom environment influences and motivates learners to actively participate in the learning activities. Tompkins enumerated 8 characteristics of a successful classroom community. The first one is safety. So a safe classroom promotes in-depth learning and nurtures students' physical and emotional well-being. The second one is respect. So students and teachers show mutual respect of their differences such that everyone feels comfortable and valued. Harassment, bullying, and verbal abuse are not tolerated in the classroom. Another one is high expectations. So in the classroom, teachers set high expectations and believe that all students can be successful. High expectations are meant to boost students' self-confidence and promote a positive classroom environment. The other one is risk-taking. So challenging and new activities are introduced by the teacher to encourage students to take intellectual risks and develop higher level thinking skills. Another one is collaboration. So teacher and students value opportunities for social interaction and being able to work together to achieve certain goals. The next characteristic is choice. It is where students are given opportunities to make choices and pursue their interest. For example, in choosing books to read or in choosing topics to write about, so that they are more motivated and place more value on the activity. The next one is responsibility. As members of the classroom community, teacher and students share learning and teaching responsibilities. And students even assume leadership roles in small group activities. And the last one here, we have family and community involvement. So there is a constant bond and communication between the school and the community. The parents and community members are involved in classroom activities and support school programs. Now, the fourth principle is that teachers adopt a balanced approach to instruction. So, a balanced approach to instruction is one that brings together the best of teacher-centered and student-centered learning theories. In the teaching of literacy or the language arts among grades 1 to 3 learners, a balanced approach to instruction would mean an integration of the different components of the subject and using a combination of different instructional strategies such as explicit instruction, guided practice, collaborative learning, independent reading and writing, and many others. The English subject in the basic education level follows the language, arts, and multiliteracies curriculum, which is anchored on language acquisition, learning, teaching, and assessing principles. It consists of the five intricately intertwined and integrated substrands, which are listening, speaking, reading, writing, and viewing. The 14 language and literacy domains in the Integrated Language Arts curriculum are laid out and aligned within the five substrands as shown in this matrix. For example, as you can see here, alphabet knowledge is being aligned to listening, speaking, reading, writing, and viewing. Now let's go to the fifth principle. Teachers address standards. The content standards of the Integrated Language Arts curriculum for the K-12 Basic Education program of the Department of Education is defined here. As you can see, for each level from grade 1 up to grade 3, there are specific grade level standards in content and performance standards. And these standards are indicated in the K-12 English Curriculum Guide. Now let's proceed to the sixth principle, which is teachers scaffold students' learning and differentiate instruction. The idea of scaffolding students' learning has been a key concept in education, particularly in the 21st century. Scaffolding is a way of breaking up new concepts so that they can be learned more easily by the students. In the process of scaffolding, the teacher provides a tool or a structure that will help the students in learning each chunk of knowledge or idea. It can help improve students' ability to grasp new materials and retain what they have learned without necessarily spoon-feeding them. So here are some of the scaffolding strategies suggested by Albert that we can try with our learners as we teach them the language arts. The first one is show and tell. So it means that we model or demonstrate to students what they are expected to do. The second one is tap into their prior knowledge. So here, we ask students about their own experiences and ideas about the topic in order to establish the relevance and connection of the topic to their own lives. The third one is give time to talk. So we have to let students process ideas and information among themselves through structured discussions such as think, pair, share, turn and talk, triad teams, and many others. Another one is pre-teach vocabulary. So we have to prepare students for the lesson, and particularly in a reading lesson, we need to prepare them by unlocking difficult words that are found in the text or the story. The next one is use visual aids. So we have to organize and present our ideas using graphic organizers, or maybe we can also use pictures, charts, and other visual materials to help and guide our students' thinking. And the last and another strategy is the pause, ask questions, pause, review. So this strategy has a way of checking for understanding among your students as you go along. On the other hand, differentiation of instruction is a technique in which different students receive different methods of learning. Teachers create multiple paths so that students of different abilities, interests, or learning needs experience equally appropriate ways to absorb, use, develop, and present concepts as a part of the daily learning process. Differentiated instruction is characterized, for instance, by the teacher's intention to vary the learning activities and outcomes of certain students in learning about a particular topic. There are actually four ways to differentiate instruction. The first one is differentiating the content or the topic. The second is differentiating the process or the activities. The third one is differentiating the product. And lastly, we have differentiating by manipulating the environment or accommodating individual learning styles. Scaffolding and differentiation of instruction are two different things, yet they do have something in common. They both address students' zone of proximal development as they enable students to achieve their maximum potential. Scaffolding is what we do to make our students learn, but for those who are still struggling to learn, even with the use of scaffolds, the teacher may need to differentiate instruction by making some modifications on the lesson, the task, the assignments, and even providing for other alternatives in the teaching and learning process. Therefore, there is no one left behind. Now let's go to the seventh principle, which is teachers link instruction and assessment. Assessment, as we all know, is an integral part of the teaching learning process. It is a process by which we collect and analyze data from classroom tests, observations, conferences, and many others in order to make informed decisions about students' academic performance and future interventions. Different assessment tools are used for different purposes, such as to determine the instructional level of students, monitor their progress, diagnose students' strengths and weaknesses, and document learning. Assessment is most effective if it is linked to instruction. This implies that in the instructional process, teachers do assessments before, during, and after instruction. And thus, Snow and colleagues show this link in a four-step cycle. So here, we can have the different steps such as planning, monitoring, evaluating, and reflecting. There are also examples of informal assessment tools that teachers can use in the classroom, such as observation, running records, examination of students' work, conferences, checklists, and rubrics. So these are just among the many examples of informal assessment tools that we could use. And that's all for the 7 principles on how to become effective in teaching English to the elementary grades.